Good morning, friends. Diana here from Garden Love. I'm out here in the garden just enjoying the beautiful sun, and I wanted to talk to you guys about heirloom seeds and non-GMO seeds for this very reason that I'm about to show you here. So basically, heirloom seeds are seeds that are passed on from generation to generation that have not been generically modified, which means that whatever strand of seed that you have is a seed that you had many years ago when you first decided to grow it, whenever that was that it started. So let me show you. So this was my marigolds last year, and marigolds are very easy to harvest seed from. They're super easy to store them. Basically, this is the seeds. You open it and there you go, you have seeds, marigold seeds. So what I did last year is I opened up the seeds and I just decided to dig up a little bit of a hole and spread them. So I was anticipating these seeds to start popping up, and I was going to have the same orange vibrant looking marigold, but instead I got this. And that's because this plant was actually purchased from a big box store, so I have no idea where exactly did those seeds come from. They were obviously not heirlooms, because instead of getting marigolds, I ended up getting these. They almost look like chamomile, which they're not. I made it a point to show my daughter the difference between this, which I'm not sure what kind of flower this is. It looks like a little daisy, but I made sure to show her the difference between this and chamomile flowers, because there is a difference. Let me see if you can tell. Look at this. This is a chamomile flower. They almost look the same. They're smaller, but the biggest difference is their stem and their leaves. As you can see here, that almost looks like seaweed. It's a very unique type of foliage compared to this. This has more of a common foliage, as you can see here. And this is where I spread all of my, which I thought were gonna end up being gold marigolds. Sorry, I had to think about it for a second. And as you can see, marigolds, it in fact is not what's coming out. This must have been the flower that they crossbred marigolds with for maybe better resistance against whatever pest was killing the marigolds. But now that I collected seeds and spread them and wanting to repopulate and propagate them and grow them from seeds, now that's not what I'm getting. So it's very important that you guys know the difference when you order seeds. If you're getting heirlooms or not, make sure that they're not generically modified, because the whole idea is for you to have a garden where it is self-seeding itself, it is growing itself, and you're not constantly spending money on new seeds. So you grow something and then you propagate it and you keep spreading it and growing year after year, and every year you're going to be focusing on something new, not redoing the same thing. So let me show you what I mean by that. You guys see this plant right here? This is comfrey. Comfrey is a plant, a root that grows and spreads, and you get leaves. These leaves are known for so many good things. You can feed them to your animals. A lot of medicinal properties inside comfrey, but I'm gonna make a whole separate video about this. But this plant died down during the winter because I guess it got too cold, but here it is. Spring is coming up and it's growing, and I'm going to show you other places. But before I go show you the rest of the comfreys that are coming out, look at this. I thought I was going to get marigolds, and instead I'm getting these. Because my daughter likes chamomile, like I said, I made sure that I pointed these out, and I pointed these out in case she wanted to harvest her own, that she will not confuse them for this, that I have no idea what this is. If you guys actually recognize this flower, please let me know what you guys think it is. And I would love to do some research, because I thought I was going to get marigolds, and it's not like something that I just started popping out and be like, oh, I must have just started growing. No, this is a specific flower that is coming out. You don't just get specific flowers like this. And look, here is another marigolds. I know exactly where I placed them. They were all surrounding the original plant. So this is going to probably look exactly like the other ones, where you are getting white little flowers instead of vibrant orange flowers. So yeah, let me show you guys other spots where comfrey is coming up that I planted it last year. And look at that. Do you guys see it? It's right there hiding. Tiny little plant that I put there last year. Oh, it's windy. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm gonna put the phone closer to my face. So yes, I have a lot of kale that reseeded itself because it went to flower. That's the whole idea, and this is exactly the kale that I planted. So the whole idea that it's gonna keep coming back and coming back. What I'm doing with this kale, I'm actually using it to feed my chickens. I'm coming here daily to chop some down and feed it to them along with some of the weeds. So let's see, talking about things that are just going to continue to keep giving you is going to be thyme in Zone 9B. As you can see here, it did so good. Look at how amazing this is looking. I plan on basically growing a farm of thyme, oregano, and comfrey. I want to repopulate the comfrey and make it into more, because that's what I'm going to be feeding my chickens, because the feed is getting so expensive. So ideally by the end of this growing season, I'm going to have rows and rows of oregano, which is another one that did, let me show you guys, because oregano did so good this whole entire year. It's actually, this is 2 years. I've been harvesting and harvesting and harvesting. I dehydrated some, and then I also use them for my cooking. And this does not die down with frost. It just does so well here in Zone 9B. And I'm ventured that you can even go down to Zone 7, 8, and 9. But you guys might want to look into that. But for my zone here, it does amazing. Lemon balm is another one that you will be able to get year after year. However, lemon balm, it's a little bit more delicate. As you can see here, it got frostbite from the frost. So what I did, I don't know if you can tell this messy, I don't know, the leftover of a cherry tomato, I used that and covered it as an umbrella to protect it from the frost, and it did so well over the winter. Now that it's warming up, and we have no risk of frost, I opened it so that we can get some sun. And yes, so I just do little things like that. I mean, it looks bad in the garden, but when we're full blown out, spring and summer, it gets tossed away or broken down and put them in these little dirt lockers, and then add soil and more mulch, and it just breaks down and comes back to the earth. And that's what I did to help some varieties that should be lasting year round, but they're not due to frost. I just protect them a little bit, and I just use nature. So yeah, let me show you some more. Obviously lavender, you guys know lavender, that it just keeps giving and giving and giving. And yes, lavender is an amazing plant, herb to have. A lot of people don't realize this is an herb. You could make teas. It smells wonderful, so it's great to have here in the garden, the homestead. So let's go see. I know this looks really messy. This is the side of my hillside garden that I haven't attended to. Basically, by the end of this year or this season, from that pole down, this side's going to be done. And then if I have time, I'll work on this side. And if not, we always have next year. But I'm slowly adding things to it. Like, for example, I don't know if you guys saw my last video where the gophers are being so active. They are going to town to my artichoke plants. They're eating them alive. So what I'm doing, whatever they have left, because I can tell as soon as they start chewing on them, the leaf starts to wilt and they are just no good, right? So you can tell something's wrong with the plant. I'm taking it off, removing it, replanting it, taking most of the foliage off. And as you can see, this happened to this one as well, and it's starting to grow. It actually had no foliage. I left like one little tiny leaf, and there it is. So artichoke is actually another one that just keeps on giving every single year. If you plant it one year, the next year you're going to have a beautiful big ginormous plant like this, and you're going to have pups. So you're going to be able to transplant them, give them away, even sell them. Okay, selling them, with the way the market is, you can help someone, or you can make a little money and help yourself, because you're putting all this work into your property and into everything that you're growing. It does take time, money, and you know, I'm thankfully growing everything that I have from all the previous purchases, and what I have now is what I'm working with now. So for example, my oregano, I've had that since 2 years ago. I took cuttings, I grew them from a cutting in water, and here, let me show you. So now that I have cuttings, I'm planting them because that's my goal, to cover this whole area with green. And what better way to do it than with herbs that are going to be great medicinal items here in the garden, and also to sell, because I can probably sell patches of oregano, patches of thyme, like I mentioned, comfrey. I'm hoping to add moringa. I have a list of things that thankfully I had purchased years ago, and I've had a little bit of time to start growing things and doing things, and that's what I've been working on. This is a cutting that I took from an oregano plant, put it in water 4 to 5 weeks, started getting roots, put it in a bigger pot, let it grow a little bit more roots, and then I put it in here because I want this to be full of oregano. And right here I had an amazing oh my god, I keep forgetting the name, artichoke, but the gopher got to it, so I took it out. It's actually, let me show you guys. Ooh, right there, dipped in water so it can get redehydrated, so when I plant it, it's good to go. But you're also going to be able to see that we have some artichokes growing from seeds here. In case you didn't know how artichokes grow their seeds, last year I didn't harvest any because I wanted the bees, since I have bees, to get as much pollen as possible, and artichokes are known to have a lot of pollen. And the flower, when it dries out, you can get a seed out of it. See that? Let me show you. That's a seed, an artichoke seed. So what I'm going to do, since this little darn freaking gopher decided to try to kill my plant, thankfully I was out here looking out for it, I'm going to just put these seeds in here because I do want an artichoke here. You might not notice the layout I have going on. Oh, look at all of those. Some of them were already sprouting. Holy moly, that is so awesome. So what I'm going to do is put them here. You guys see these, how they're sprouting? So I'm going to just put them here, let them grow, and when the seedlings are a little bigger, I'm going to place them in other locations. So honestly, friends, this video is like, basically I'm giving you guys a little tour of what's going on in the garden, and a lot of growing tips, because there we go, artichokes are reseeding themselves, and we have a lot of babies here that I'm going to be transplanting. Once they look strong, like this one can be transplanted already. These, I can't wait for them to grow because look, there's seeds everywhere. They are going to do great. This is where their mama was at. I'm gonna give it some water. We do have some rain scheduled this week, so I'm not too worried. Seeds can survive just like that, and hopefully we can get another artichoke growing here. I feel really blessed with the rain we've been getting, because that hurt my back. With the rain we've been getting, because I haven't had to water my garden in months. So look, we have more seeds here, so I'm gonna save those. I know a lot of you guys always ask me if I sell some of my seeds and some of the stuff I have going on here, and the perfect example how I began this video, the reason why I haven't want to sell any of my seeds is because I don't want that to happen to you guys. I don't want to send you a marigold seed and it turns out to be something else that I have no idea what it is. So the whole plan is that I'm going to reseed this. I mean, right now I can tell we're getting artichokes out of those seeds, so maybe those seeds would be safe to sell and send to you guys for like $2. I don't know. So if you guys are interested, maybe leave it in the comments. I haven't thought about doing that, but I know certain seeds are hard to get. I've never seen artichoke seeds really, and this artichoke you guys have seen it. I've had them all over the garden and I've showed you guys. They are doing great. You guys saw the flowers last year. They did amazing. So yeah, I'm gonna just leave those there for now. I've actually been spreading them everywhere because I do want artichokes to start growing everywhere. And if I have too many of them, I'll just pot them up. I mean, super easy, super easy. Artichokes are very easy to propagate and grow. So last year I didn't get to finish this. You could see some of the dirt lockers are breaking. It's very disappointing, but a lot of them aren't either. So, you know, with everything you get, there's good and bad. And this was a ginormous project. I think maybe this project could have been cut into different layers and not all congested like this. Maybe we should have done like a walking path, and then start more dirt lockers. But we live and learn, and I'm still very happy with this, with everything that I have going on here. And yes, tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. I know a lot of you guys have been following me for a long time, and you guys have seen this grown tremendously. I'm really proud of this corner because it's actually the way I intended it to, and it looks finished. So I can't wait for this whole hillside to look like that. And that's what the project is for this year, to grow plants that, like rosemary. Oh my god, that's another one I didn't mention. Rosemary. Here, let's walk over there. Rosemaries are amazing. They keep giving year after year. You can cut them down, and look at this new growth. You can use this for cooking. You can dehydrate it so you can have it in the kitchen. And they do grow pretty big, so you might want to manage it if you have a smaller space. But look at this. I have plenty of space for these to grow and spread, so I'm not too concerned about it. Maybe next year I'll give them some cutting. Maybe this year I'll harvest some. Maybe when I start selling, I would just consecutively be cutting. And right now, look at the beautiful, I really hope you guys can hear me through this wind, but look at the beautiful bees. They are enjoying all of this blooms. And I have oregano just about everywhere. That's the plan, friends. That's the plan. Yes, I know I talked a little bit about chamomile. That's another one I'm trying to spread throughout the whole garden, so I constantly have harvest, and I constantly have production. That's something else that could be sold if people were interested in it. It did well over the winter. I was pretty impressed. I think it did better over the winter than it did during the hot summer days. So maybe that is something that to note, that chamomile and So9B does better in the winter. So that's something that I could be growing and harvesting in the winter more. So I have a lot of seeds growing, and I'm hoping they all take, and I'm hoping that we can have plenty of chamomile this year. This year is all about preserving and saving and storing, and seeing what we can do with the garden, and I don't know, sharing it. Let me show you guys something else that I absolutely love. I absolutely think every garden should have and should grow, and that is nopales. These are the edible nopales where you cut the little pad and you eat it. And these are the prickly pear nopales. There's difference, and you can tell how ginormous this pad is compared to the size of that. Some of them didn't take, but you know what? I put plenty on here. I'm hoping at the minimum 5 of these take. And I'll be harvesting my own nopales, growing my own food, and eating it because I love nopales. I could eat nopales with every meal. Look at this. My oregano's in here. I put onions that I transplanted, oregano from a propagation, from water propagation. Oh yeah, let me show you something else. There we go. Another one. I'm spreading them all over the place. I have garlics and onions that reseeded themselves. I had no idea that garlic can reseed themselves. I let some garlics go to seed, and I actually got a lot of garlics out of them. I pulled them out, and I thought they were onions, but no, it turned out that they were garlics. I saw all the bunched up cloves, which I was very impressed. So I'm sitting here in a little bee. I'm composting in place. I'm sitting here in a bee. This is pointing. So it's going to be a roll of oregano, a roll of basil, because basil will die every year. So when that dies, the oregano will stay green, lush, and beautiful. thyme because it sits lower, so I'll be able to see the thyme, oregano, and basil that grows taller. As you guys see, I have this beautiful plant here, artichoke, some garlics and onions, which will repel the gophers away from my rest of my plants. I haven't seen any gophers go for oregano, so I'm hoping that would repel them as well. So the things I'm growing in between these two things, will thrive and grow. I have some lavender that eventually will grow lush and beautiful, and it will be a nice focal point here. All three of them have lavender. And the same thing goes for this side. Oregano, thyme, and basil. I might grow one loofah to trellis, and we'll see how that goes. But the whole point is that from this side to that side, the garden is going to be complete, thriving, growing, producing, and I should be able to have good harvests from this side to this side. As you can see, this side, all the weeds, even though it looks beautiful and green, those are all weeds that are overgrowing in my dirt lockers. There's a few intentional plants in between them, like my Laurel Bay artichoke. That big bush next to the artichoke, it is, I don't know what it is. There's actually 3 artichokes here that you don't see. My Mexican key lime is not doing well, and we're going to talk about that because it's all about microclimates, and we could talk about that in a different video because I could talk for a long length. That's one. And over here is my other Mexican key lime. So as you can see here, the microclimate, even though they're only yards away, there is a huge difference because they were planted exactly the same. And we'll talk about that, but that would have to be a different video. Hey, Finn! Different video for sure. So, all right. I'm going to conclude this video because it's pretty long. I gave you guys a little walkthrough of my garden. I wanted to share with you guys what I had going on, and things for you guys to consider. If you guys are starting a garden, I have to look down to ensure I don't trip, and I'm watching my stuff, but I'm still going to talk. If you guys are thinking about starting a garden, maybe focus on those herbs that are going to be they're going to be the bones of your garden, which means that you are going to have them year after year, because I think it would bring a great satisfaction to you that when the season's over, something is still growing, something's still thriving, and it would just motivate you more to continue to grow and plant things the next year. And you have already done like the first layer of your garden, the first step, and you can continue to use those herbs throughout the year. And on the downtime, you can learn more about them. You can learn about how to use them, recipes, just so much. So I recommend for you guys to start your herbs first, the ones that are going to stay year round, which are Preannuals. So yes, and then add other things like, garlic. Garlic is the easiest thing for you guys to grow. So as you can see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dirt lockers, which they're about 2 feet wide of onions. I don't know how many are in each one, but I feel that it's going to be a good harvest. And those are some of the things that I highly recommend that you guys start with, because they're going to be the skeleton and bones of your garden. And once you have that skeleton going, which is what I've been working on over there, then I can add things in between. I can start adding tomatoes. I can start adding zucchinis. Any other annuals that I want to add. And once the season's over, it's over, and then I don't have to worry about recovering that area and making it look good. And then I could just focus on adding compost, fertilizer, anything to amend the soil. And yes, I know I said I was done, but hey, it's a tour. I'm giving you guys a garden tour, and since I am doing that, let's move over to the blueberries. I transplanted this last year because it was overgrowing there. There was 3 of them, and I said, you know what, no, this one needs its own space, and it's starting to grow. It's starting to do good, so I'm not worried. This one is covered with flowers, and yes, we're gonna get blueberries this year like we did last year. This one is also covered with flowers. I can see that the soil is not as moist, so it needs mulch. I'm gonna add a mulch to that, and my compost needs to get covered. And then let's see, jujubes are still asleep. This amazing lemon tree that I added. It's doing great. Mexican key lime, it's doing terrible. I'm hoping that it bounces back. I'm not that worried because I believe in this tree. It's still live in it. I can see green, and I feel that it's gonna do fine. I'm not gonna worry, friends. I'm not gonna worry. And if you see this tree in your yard like this, don't worry. Wait for the heat to hit it. And I can feel the wind blowing through here a lot more than in that corner, and that is what I'm talking about, microclimates. But like I said, I'm not going to get into that because this maybe 40-minute video is going to be into a much longer video, and I want to just give you guys a tour. I'm growing nopales everywhere. I am obsessed with nopales. I want to be able to harvest my own nopales, and that could also be a product that I sell for visitors here if I decide to do that. So here's my Buddha hen. You can see a lot of new growth. This tree is a trooper. I'm sorry, this is my blood orange. This tree is a trooper, and I'm gonna show you why. Because this is my Buddha hen, and although it's still alive, it has no leaves. Like I said, I'm not worried. Once it starts to warm up, the leaves are gonna come through. Now, if you guys remember that I air layer a pink Eureka lemonade, I decided to plant it here. It's not liking it, but I'm not worried. There's still leaves down there. They're still green. The branches are still flexible, which means they're alive. And we're about to get the heat here in a couple weeks, so I'm not worried. This tree is gonna do fine. All of my trees are gonna do fine. There is nopales. Oh yeah, how can I forget? Let me show you guys. These are raspberries. I'm super excited. Raspberries, friends. We are going to be growing raspberries this year. I've been saying it for years, and I finally ordered it, and here we go. It's gonna rain this week, so I'm not watering. After it rains this week, I feel like we're not gonna get as much rain, so I'm going to mulch it because our soil here doesn't drain as beautiful as it should. So that's why I'm letting it dry out a little bit. I know underneath this layer there's moisture in there. When it rains, you see a little pocket of water here, which would allow all that water to seep down deep into the soil layers where the roots of these plants can reach down to drink. Because when you plant things in the ground, they have an endless resources because they know how to survive. And obviously we need to help them, but due to this rain, there's going to be a good deep reservoir of water. And I did this just about everywhere. I opened holes where I plan on planting so the water can go there, and in the future when I plant something, there's going to be a good reservoir of water. I also did these trenches right above any trees that I'm growing so the water can go down and seep into, because this is gravity is going to feed the water into the roots because we are at a slope. And okay, yeah, and it's gonna have a good reservoir of water. But here's the sad news, friends. This is you guys, if you guys have been following me for a long time, you guys know how much I love loquats and how they are so good to my stomach, and I just love the taste. I planted this 2 years ago. The first year it did okay. This year was a harsh winter here for the norm. And these were flowers that were actually about to give me fruit. And as you can see here, they didn't do well. Frost got to them. So I'm hoping, there's still flecks in it. I'm hoping that this tree bounces back. It's not looking so good. But you know what? I never cut my losses until it's obvious that it's not going to bounce back. And right now, it is not obvious. Right now, it is questionable. I am very skeptical about my trees because there's been so many trees that I've saved when I thought they were going to die, or anybody would have thought they would have died based on how they looked. And no, this tree, I still feel that is going to make it. And keep your fingers crossed for me. A couple of you guys asked me to give you guys an update on my loquat, and here it is. It is not doing well. It looks really sad. I love quats. I still have a few other ones in pots, so I'm not gonna be too sad about it. You win some, you lose some. I mean, you cannot control nature, and the survivors will survive, and the ones that won't, they won't. So, I mean, I guess I could have covered it. I could have done it, but I didn't know this was gonna happen. It just happened overnight. I don't like the way the trunk is breaking. It also could be that there was too much water. Loquats are known not to like a lot of water, so they're drought tolerant. So I had to like take some mulch out, and just when I realized how bad it was, I tried to do what I could. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed, friends. I'm not gonna be too sad about it. I'm not gonna buy one because we're on a budget right now, and we'll see what happens. We have a lot of other things to focus on. If you guys know what this is called, I was told that I think it's patuya in Spanish, and it grows a fruit out of it like a prickly pear, but it's different than a prickly pear. So this was gifted to me, and then I had a family member who I went to visit, and she ended up having the same plant. So I took some cuttings. I plan on planting that and to different locations, and I'll share a separate video on that. Oregano. I mean, what is this called? Not oregano. Cilantro. I had some cilantro seeds, and I spread them all over here. Let me show you guys. Once you plant cilantro and you let it go to seed once, you will always have cilantro. Look at that. You guys see the cilantro leaves? They're coming. They're coming. So, I know this video is long. A lot of you guys have told me that you guys like long videos. So I decided to do a tour of this amazing garden. Look at, there's 3 pups here. I'm going to be transplanting some of these. I'm only gonna leave one because they grow really big, and I'm gonna find a spot for it. Oh, how could I forget? Sage. Sage is another one that just keeps giving and giving. I've had this for 3 years. It is in there. New leaves are starting to grow. Now the spring's hitting here. Look at that. Sage is another one, friends. Here's the cilantro. It reseeded itself. Even though we have some little weeds, we could just pull the weeds before we decide to harvest. There's a kale plant. Yes, friends. Cilantro for days. Look at that. How beautiful is that? Anyways, I know I've said this like 3 times. Here is the conclusion. I'm gonna end it up with this plant, and this plant is a plant that you must have, because not only is it hard to find, it is expensive to buy, and it's beautiful. Evergreen, stays green year round. If you guys know what this is, I'm not gonna tell you for a minute. Put it in the comments down below. A lot of Hispanics cook with this. I know a lot of other countries cook with this. It's great for your soups. It also has a lot of medicinal purposes, so I highly recommend this. I plan on doing propagations and doing a couple hedges of this, because that's another thing you can sell if you are planning on doing a little farm or self-sustainable garden. This is something you want to have. So I think I've given enough time. I hope all of you guys put it in the comments down below. I'm curious to know how many of you guys recognize this plant, how many of you guys are really familiar with herbs. Look at that. My mother comes and gets them all the time. She tells me to save her some. I don't harvest this in the winter. I harvest it in the growing season because I don't like to leave it bare. So this is Laura Bay leaves. I have 2 plants. I had 3, but 1 died. So I have 1 here, and 1 over there is tiny little bit. This one was growing because I did a in-ground compost. So anything that was seeping into the ground, this plant benefited from it. And yes, this is evergreen. There's green year round. It doesn't like a lot of water once it gets established. It grows slow. I'm not gonna deny that. It grows slow. This is a 2-year plant, and it's about maybe 3 feet tall. And yes, I recommend this. This is a must-have. So I've given you guys a lot of must-have in the garden to start with. If you guys are beginners, if you guys are seasoned gardeners, if you guys don't have some of these herbs, I highly recommend you guys get them. These are going to be the bones of your garden and the bones of your medicinal drawer, the bones of your cooking seasoning. So yes, please add this to one of your top herbs to have. Laurel Bay, they're expensive. I think like a little bottle with like 5-6 leaves are $5 or $4. So highly recommend. Not to mention that you don't know what's been sprayed on it. That goes for all the herbs. I don't spray anything, and as you guys know, whatever dies here, and whatever I can save, I try to save it, but I do not spray anything. The only thing I do is give them fertilizer and compost. I try to do that. I'm going to be working on figuring out how to do my own compost. I'm sorry, not my own compost, my own fertilizer, and the comfrey is going to come in handy with that. And we'll talk about that in later videos. I know I haven't been posting much. Honestly, I've been going through a rough time, and I've been dealing with some stuff. So that's the reason why I haven't posted a lot. I just been meditating a lot, coming out here to not add myself with any pressure of having to do anything or deliver. I've been doing some short videos to share with you guys, but the spring's hitting and the heat is the bright sun and the heat is healing me. I love being out here, and I can't wait to get back to sharing all of that I've learned this year from my garden, and anybody who's starting that I can motivate and encourage to get out there and grow and use the garden to heal me like I've done in the past. So I'm hoping that this comes to you at a good time and it motivates you, it encourages you. I've given you guys a lot of tips, and I'm sorry it's so windy. I really hope that you guys get this audio clearly, because I want you guys to get started. I want you guys to start growing. I want you guys to not be scared of growing things, and want to motivate you guys, because it is not that hard. If I could do it, you can do it. You guys are fully capable. There's so many brilliant people on this app and community that we have built, and I am excited to share everything I know. And I learned so much from you guys. I bet one of you guys are going to tell me what that white flower is that came from my marigolds. I am looking forward to hearing that from you guys. These are some other berries. Here, I'll show you guys. I'm telling you guys, this video can be forever. You guys told me you guys like long videos, so here it is. Honeyberry. There's a female and a male, so I planted the male here and the female there. I plan on putting a tree here because I noticed that these two berries do not like the bright sun here in Zone 9B in Southern California. So I want something that helps them shade it. And if you guys have any ideas, suggestions, I like evergreen trees because like I said, I'm building the bones of this garden. So I want the bones to be evergreen, which means the year round is going to look beautiful. And then I plan to intersect other crops like these. They sprouted on their own, okay? These came from seeds last year. I did not plant these. These are onions, and they were about to start flowering. It hasn't even been, it's not full spring yet, and they wanted to already start flowering. So what I did is I chopped them down, and the whole idea is that by chopping them down, I also use them as ground cover to give them a little bit of something to feed off of it. This is the whole idea is for the bulb to get bigger now that I cut off the leaves. So these were a blessing from heaven that God just decided to say, hey, you're about to have these new onions growing here. And yeah, a lot of things started propagating on its own. So yes, I'm excited about these berries. I hope that this year they took all their time to root, to grow, and get strength for the summer that's coming. Because last year they were so sad with the summer heat. I had to cover them with shade cloths, and they're coming back. Winter, they died down. Right now they're coming back, and I am excited about those because those are our berries that are supposed to have a tremendous amount of minerals and vitamins, and you guys know that I'm all about that. So yes, I put an artichoke there because that one got eaten down by a ugly little gopher. And you know what, I noticed that the gophers, I mean, we all know this, or maybe some of you guys still don't know this, gophers hate onions and garlic. So that's what I plan on doing around, like for example right there, my tree. I'm gonna put onions around it. I put onions up there. I'm gonna use that as my repellent against my good, wonderful plants. And yes, so I plan on putting garlic and onions spread out all throughout the garden where I'm noticing that the gophers are attacking, and that's going to be my defense against them, so we can coexist, because I've tried catching them and I have not gotten any results. If you guys have suggestions, please let me know. Yeah, I'm going to work on training our dog to catch them, because he's pretty good about hearing them underground. He's always starts digging, and I know it's a gopher because I see evidence of gopher. So we're back where we started. My Mexican sage, oh my god, I can't wait for that plant to start growing and blooming. I leave all of this to give them more protection from the frost. When we are clear from frost, I just basically bend them off and we're good to go. Mint is in a pot. Do not put it in your garden because it would take over. But I had, oh yeah, I'm trying to grow my aloe veras. I don't know if you can see it here. Aloe veras are amazing for a lot of things. We all pretty much have heard something about aloe veras. They are great for cuts, sunburn. I mean, for so many things, and that is something that I want to add throughout the garden. I want aloe veras, multiple aloe veras hidden in this garden, so when we need it, it's there. There's another one over there. I don't know if you can see it. And yes, let's see. I had put a. Ooh, look at that. Norstration. I can never pronounce the name. I'm not even gonna try. But let me see. I had put some more comfrey around here, and I thought I saw it coming out, but oh, here it is. Look at that. You see the little baby comfrey? It's coming. There's a little drip, and look at that. So these lavenders, it looks like they're in every dirt locker, but it's every other one. So in between them, I'm actually intersecting certain things that I want to grow, like this aloe vera hates the summer heat. So I decided to put it there because this gives some shade. When this grows, gives it shade, and this would allow it to get established. And once it's well established and big enough, it can sustain the heat. Not to mention that over the years, it will allow itself to acclimate to the heat. So that's the reason why I'm putting them. I basically created a small microclimate there for it, and that's what you need to be thinking about when you're growing things and planning. You need to plant several in different locations, and you need to, these are all weeds. I just let it sit there, pull it out so it doesn't continue to grow. You just need to, what was I saying? You just need to play around with your garden. Plant them in different locations like I did. I did basically everything that I have here, I had there. And as you can see, everything here took, and everything there, well, not everything, but most of it didn't take. So, but now that the microclimate is slowly starting to change because I'm adding things over there, I'm going to continue to copy this layout over there again. It's going to be slightly different, but the whole idea is for it to, have a little bit of everything on both sides and learn from the microclimate. And as time goes by, I know what's obviously not going to grow over there due to the microclimate, and obviously what's going to grow here. So anyways, this is almost a 50-minute video. I'm going to conclude this video with that. I've given you guys so much, and I can continue to talk because I haven't even gone to the orchard. I only went to this part of the orchard, but not that part of the orchard. I want to hear from you guys. I know that I haven't been connecting with you guys, and I haven't heard from you guys either in my videos that much. So I want to hear from you guys. Please tell me what else you guys want me to talk about and show you guys, and I would love to do that for you guys. I hope you guys have a blessed day. I'll see you in the next one.